So to create a Windows service is actually quite simple. First thing we do is to create the Windows Service project, and for that you go to New Project, and then there is a nice template in here called Windows Service. I'm just going to leave the name as the default, Windows Service 1, and I'm going to click OK. In the Windows Service template project, there are two files in here. Let me see if there are any references. Yes, so what this template does for you is to create two class files and also add the system.service process reference to the project. I am going to click on the service1.cs and right click actually and click view code. And as you can see, this is nothing but a class that inherits from the service base class and also has two functions that are overloaded. One is the onStart function and the onStop function, the two main functions needed for the Windows service to start and stop. And inside the program.cs, this is actually just like a console app has a main function, and that main function it's what the Windows service the Windows service application calls to start a Windows service. And we're going to go over how to debug this as well. So as you can see, this class that inherits from the service base has a little bit of a different icon, but don't let that throw you off. It's not that different from the program class, and I believe that if I add a class in here, just a regular class, so class1.cs, and if I inherit from service base, let's see, I'm not 100% sure if this is going to work or not. Control Enter, resolve using system.process, and let me save this real quick. Actually, I don't think I need to save. I might have to. Service base, save. And there it is. You have a class 1 with the same icon as the service 1. It doesn't have the designer attached to it, but you get what I'm saying. I'm saying that the service1.cs is pretty much a class that has been overloaded with something extra to it. So the nice thing about using the template is that that Windows Service already has everything in it. So I'm going to go ahead and then the Windows Service template has everything in it. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of class 1 because we don't need it. I was just trying to prove a point. Okay, back on track. Next thing that we need to do, so I'm going to click on service 1 here, and I'm going to go to view code. We have our start and stop methods here already overridden. So let's do this. I am going to create a file when this starts, file, and also actually going to tell you about something very interesting here. I don't know if you used the environment.current directory before, which works just fine. So let's just say that we want to put a file in here on start.txt just to prove that we started the service. So if you wrote other applications before, you're probably familiar with environment.current directory, which will put a file in the same directory as the executable. The interesting thing about Windows services is that they don't run in the same location as they are installed. They run in the Windows.system32 directory. So what needs to happen in here, instead of using the environment current directory, you have to use the app-domain.current domain, I think base directory. Okay, let's just try that. And I'm going to put a breakpoint in here. Okay, and if I save this, and if I try to run, we're going to get an error, but I just want to show you this real quick. I'm going to put a breakpoint in there, start debugging the app, and we're going to run into a bit of a problem here. So as it tries to run, you get this error that says Windows Service is start failure. And it says that you cannot start a service from the command line or a debugger, but there's a way around that. And you, what Windows wants you to do is actually to deploy the service to your actual computer and then attach the debugger to it. So let's do the following. Let's go ahead and then put a conditional directive here. I'm going to press Control KS, and that's going to bring up some snippets of code, and I'm going to use the if statement here. If debug, and then I am going to move this all the way to the bottom. And by the way, what I'm doing here, I'm creating a snippet of code that is going to allow us to debug the service, and this is very helpful. Else, okay. So in here, well, and all this again just to debug the service. In service 1, I'm going to create a public function in here. Public void on debug. You can call this whatever you want. I'm just calling it on debug. And then on debug, I'm going to call the on start function, and I'm going to pass a null object to it. And this on debug is going to actually call the on start function. You can't call the on start function directly because it is protected, I believe. So let me go ahead and then just start a service 1, which is the name of our service, called service 1. I'm going to create a new instance of it. So my service equals new service 1, and then in here I'm going to do my service dot. See, yeah, we don't have these on start out here. Yeah, it's protected, so you can't see it. So I'm going to call that on debug that I created myself, and doesn't ask me to pass anything to it. And also the last thing that we need to do here, it's called system.thread.sleep, and then in here system.threading dot timeout infinite. So that's going to keep our service alive. So now if we run again that one more time, it's going to start at the same point. Now instead of F10 over, I'm going to press F11. So now I'm creating a new instance of the class. I'm going to F10 this part. And then now it's going to call the onDebug function, the one that we made. And that's going to call the onStart function. And it's going to try to create the file. One good thing to do here, which I didn't, it's to use the try-catch block around any type of I/O functions that you're calling. Anytime that you're trying to read something from the disk or you're trying to write something to the disk, it's a very good practice to actually put a try-catch around, because you never know what can be wrong. Maybe you can't access the disk, maybe you don't have permissions enough, and you want to be able to handle that and not have your Windows service blow up. I'm going to F11 again, and now we're going back to the main function, and that's going to put us to sleep. As you can see right here, we're still running, okay? So now going to Solution Explorer, I'm going to right-click Windows Service, open folder, and since we are in debug mode, our files are going to be inside the bin, debug, and there you can see the onStart. Oh, this is a good point too. So as you can see, I am still debugging, so I can't access that file, which is actually just proof that it's still running in the back. So I'm going to stop this, and now I'm going to double click on start, and that file that we created during the start service open up just fine. Okay, so this is how you create a Windows service. Next, I am going to go ahead and explain how to install a Windows service. Thank you for watching. Bye.